This is our place, come on in. Our place, so glad you're here. Our place, everybody's welcome. We see God on every face. Love lives here in this place. Welcome to our place, our sweet place.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Boulder Valley. I'm Reverend Jody Hill Stevenson, the senior minister, and we are so grateful you're here with us today. You know, this has been a week in the world where we all need each other. We all need to remember what we believe in. And what we believe is that even through the worst of the worst situations, such as a war, where people's lives are being diminished, they're being destroyed, they're being on and on and on. I don't even need to go on, you all know. There is a rainbow, and our job is to continue focusing on the rainbow. There is a spark of hope. There is a spark of faith. Of course, I'm talking about the war in Ukraine right now, and all the hundreds and thousands of people whose lives have been turned upside down. So if you would join me in a prayer right now, because we are all one. So people who are in war across on the other side of the planet, we are affected by that. And so let us take a moment, and if you would, close your eyes and go into your heart. Turn away from the third dimensional reality as we remember that at the very center of our being is the source of love. It is the very source that leads and guides us as we co-create life on this planet together. We send a very special prayer and energy of love to the people in Ukraine. We know that nothing is bigger than God. And while this may seem like a horrific experience, because we all know, no matter what our political siding is or our beliefs are, that peace is the way to go. Respect and trust is the way to be on this planet. And so we send a special, special love to our brothers and sisters and our four-leggeds, all the living beings over in the Ukraine area. We also send a special prayer to the Russians, to the political system there. We send a prayer of knowing that at the very center of our being, we are all one. We know that nothing is bigger than the divine. So we know the truth. We know that peace and joy will prevail again. And that something extraordinary is trying to happen here. And so from our place across the planet, we open our hearts and we open our minds. And we give thanks for what we have in our own life. We give thanks for our own children and our own pets and our own homes. And we give thanks for each other, because here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Boulder Valley, love lives here. And so it is. We bless this sweet, sweet village of ours called planet Earth. And together we say, and so it is. I just want to acknowledge that we have some new beginnings here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Boulder Valley. We have a big announcement at the end of our announcements. So please stay online, and we'll be sharing with you every step of the way what's happening. Thanks so much for joining us. Grab your cup of coffee, sit back in our living room service here, and know that we are here to love you, and we do.
Welcome. My name is Laura Brzezinski. I'm today's practitioner. Please join me in reciting our BHAG. We reflect the divine through teaching the science of mind principles of success as we co-create an inclusive, inspiring, global online ministry. There's a white candle over my shoulder, and that candle is to remind each one of us of the light that is always present within in each and every one of us. I have some words of inspiration today on our topic of enjoy from our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes. I am a gift of joy that God gives to a wonderful world. Everything necessary to the full and complete expression of the most boundless experience of joy is mine now. Find joy and solace in the simple and cultivate your utopia by feeling the Tao in every cubic inch of space, by Wayne Dyer. And by Joy herself, Louise Hay. I am totally free to choose thoughts of joy. It is my divine right to do so. And our affirmation today, I am open and receptive to joy in every one of life's experiences. So let's take a moment, close our eyes, and just bring that within as we breathe. I am open and receptive to joy in every one of life's experiences.
Alleluia, 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 alleluia. Alleluia, we are one now. 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 We are one. So we sing Alleluia. 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 Alleluia.
Alleluia. Thank you, Karen. Let's go within and pray. I just breathe in, centering myself into this moment. Breathing in the light and the life and the joy that God is. Spirit, source, energy, creative expression, the universe, whatever name we choose to give it. It is that and so much more, for it is the all of all. It is the energy breathing us, the energy moving us, the energy that brought us together collectively across time and space into this moment right now. And that divine energy moving and breathing us is us, expressing as us. We are the expression on this planet of the divine. We are the face of the divine. We are the voice of the divine. We are the joy expressing of the divine. And so today I feel that joy. I feel it bubbling up and spilling out over as I am reminded that I am one with the one and you are one with that one. This one all creative presence, energy, life, creative essence, joy and love itself. And so today we sit centered, grounded in this knowing as we feel the love and the joy and the light and the life that life is moving in through and as us. And I know that this center is an expression of joy and love and peace. This center is an expression of community and enjoying life and sharing life. And so each one of us has the opportunity to step forth today in joy, share our love, to be peace, spreading our peace and our love around this planet as we wrap our arms around all of those in conflict today, knowing that as we continue to uplevel our vibration, we are all connected. It uplevels the vibration all around this planet, all around our world, supporting this one giant human family that we are all a part of. And it just takes conscious thought, taking a moment to be still, to turn within. And so we do that right now, and we feel that love, and we feel that joy, and we feel peace, and we express that out to the world, out to each other in this community, out to each other in our state, in our outside communities of this one. And we just spread this love and this joy and this peace out from right now. And then as we move forward through our day, as we remember to take a moment and to be peace and to choose thoughts of peace and to be joy and to choose thoughts of joy and to choose opportunities to express joy. We can, we are, we do. And I am so grateful for this reminder right here, right now, that we each have the power, for we each are the power. We are God in form, expressing. Spirit is expressing its joy through us. How magnificent is that? I am so thankful for this community that comes together and reminds each other of the divine expression that we all are, that comes together to share peace and love and joy all around this world. And I am so grateful for that divine intelligence that created this technology, that divine intelligence that is continuing to expand and create and express in the most wonderful ways around this planet. And I am just grateful for the sharing of this love, grateful as we ripple out our love, joy, and peace forward. And so I just release and let go these words back out into that divine expression, allowing this prayer to ripple out love, joy, peace, compassion, community. Yes. And so it is.
Ooh, celebrate. Celebrate. These are the hands. This is the voice to celebrate the goodness of God. I lift up my voice, that's how we celebrate the goodness of God. And as we wait, hearts wide open, fill us, we pray. And that's when we discover the wonder of your grace. Celebrate the goodness of God. Celebrate, celebrate the goodness of God. Here's what we all do. We lift up our hands. We lift up our voice. That's how we celebrate the goodness of God. We lift up our hands, we lift up our voice and celebrate the goodness of God. And as we wait in the silence, we hear a voice sweet and clear. And that is how we discover God is always near. These are the hands. This is the voice that celebrates the goodness of God. All of us singing now. These are the hands. This is the voice. This is the voice. This is how we celebrate the goodness of God. Celebrate, celebrate.
Our speakers today are, I know this community knows them very well because I've spoken at our church many times. I've only met them a couple of times, but whenever I always have the feeling of being so honored to be a colleague of theirs. You know, have you ever been around people like that? It's like, oh, I'm so glad I'm part of the same group that you're in. And it feels wonderful. So Reverend Valerie and Michael Torphy are here today to talk to us about in joy, in joy. And I have to tell you, they're just wonderful. They are the senior ministers of the Center for Spiritual Living North Metro area. And they have, I think they opened their church right when COVID hit, and they've stayed alive through it all. So I'm so happy that you are here, Reverend Valerie and Michael, and thank you for sharing your wisdom.
Hey, we're so thrilled to be here today to speak at a place that we spoke at for the very first time when we came to Colorado. Your center was the first center that we spoke at, and it was joyful. We love the folks that are present here today, joining us, and all those that are part of your center. You remember that time? Wasn't it wonderful?
Yeah, it was. And we even did a workshop there. We had so much fun. You have such a lovely community. And
Yes.
so we feel so blessed to be part of it today.
So joy is a good thing because we're feeling joy. Joy is defined as a feeling of great pleasure and happiness. And I have this quote by Robert Louis Stevenson that says joy really clearly. He says, find out where your joy resides and give it a voice way beyond singing, for to miss joy is to miss all. And that just kind of says it all. Wouldn't it be, who in this world doesn't want to be joyful? Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could just live joyfully every single day in whatever we do?
I love that comparison to singing too.
Yeah.
Because who can sing without feeling joyful? I mean, like really.
Yeah, even my mom, who was kind of, my dad said it was a tin ear. She couldn't find the notes, but even when she sang with gusto, and it made me smile. It didn't make any difference that she was off key or whatever, because she was finding joy in just singing. So the way I see it, a lot of our missing joy comes from stuff way back that's been hidden in the corner of our mind, something that may have happened to us, or something that someone did to us, or something we did ourselves. And there's 4 things that can be hidden in your mind. That's guilt, shame, regret, and unforgiveness. Any one of those, if you carry it for a long period of time, just kind of sits in your soul, and it's like being back in that time, and it's never left you. It's constantly with you, and I don't believe that it's purposeful. I just think it's something that we got to become aware of, because the more we become aware of what's happening inside of us, the more we can live a life of joy. I came up with 4 steps.
Okay.
I like steps, and I came up with 4 steps for letting whatever's hidden inside you, letting it go, releasing it into the nothingness from which it came. The first step is to forgive yourself or the other person or both, because it all begins with forgiveness. And if you're forgiving someone else, first you have to forgive yourself, because without forgiving yourself, it's pretty hard to forgive somebody else. The second step is to apologize to yourself or to the other person. And the other person doesn't have to necessarily be there, because that other person may not want to see you. And that's okay, because they have that, they can do that. But it's important for you. And it may be sitting down every day in your prayers, just saying, I'm sorry, or writing something out and putting it in an envelope and putting a stamp on it, but don't mail it. Just find a way to experience an apology. And
when we're forgiving the other person,
we are.
because that stuff that we're holding inside is harming our joy.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So the third part of this is learn from it, because there's some great gift that sits within that thing that's sitting inside you, just waiting to explode and reveal to you exactly what it is that you want to know, to free yourself, so you can step into that joy. And you will feel joy when that happens, when you find the gift that was in whatever took place way back when you find that gift, joy will just burst through you and touch many other people. And the last part, once you learn that lesson, let it be the redefining of how you see it from that point on. Don't see it the way you used to see it, through guilt or through shame or through regret or through unforgiveness. See it through that redefining experience that you had by allowing joy to come through.
I just want to say something about that. As a person that I had a hard time forgiving, was a particular person was somebody at the time that I had to see fairly often, who seemed to need to be unkind intentionally to hurt. And I know he did it to everybody else too, but some of the things were very, very direct at me. And so I was in a workshop with Cynthia James before she was the minister, and she was talking about how I didn't do it for that person. I was doing it for me. And I began to understand that that person was extremely unhappy and that he was sharing that unhappiness with everyone around him. And I began to have compassion for how it must be to be living in a place where it seemed important to take everybody down to the level that that person was at, as opposed to allowing the rest of us to bring that person up to our level. And at the point that I began to understand that that didn't have anything to do with me, whether it was directed at me or whether it wasn't directed at me, it all had to do with whatever it was that was deep inside that person that was causing all that pain that he was sharing. And so if we begin to just think about it in terms of, oh, I don't need to take this on. This is your stuff and you get to keep your stuff. I'd be happy to help you with your stuff, but if you choose not to, that's okay too. And I choose not to carry it anymore. Thank you very much. And thank you, Cynthia, for helping me do that.
Yes. And an important lesson there is don't react to the level that's coming at you.
Absolutely.
Because that just promotes more. If you're meeting them at the same level, then it can only go spiral downward. If you take the high road and just smile, and there's nothing more joyful than a smile, then you can move on, and it becomes their problem, not our problem. I want to share with you something I learned from a minister by the name of Reverend Andrea Earl. And she's with the Heart and Soul Center of Light in Oakland, California. And I think it was at a service or was at some event where she spoke, and she talked about this symbol that it was a mystical symbol that the people of Ghana, the Akan people of Ghana used as a teaching tool. And the symbol was called Sankofa. Sankofa. And what Sankofa is, it literally means it is a taboo to go back and feel what you forgot.
Whoa, say that again.
It is not a taboo to go back and feel what you forgot. I said that differently, huh?
You did. Read it one more time.
Go ahead, read it.
It is not taboo to go back and fetch what you forgot.
There you go. That's why we're two people. One of us has a mind, the other one doesn't. I'm so blessed for that. Anyway, the symbol is of a mystical bird that's flying one direction with its head turned back, looking back, and in its beak is an egg, and the egg represents the future. So it's moving forward and learning from what it needs to from the past, and it's moving towards its future. And wouldn't it be awesome if we could live that way? Just not allowing our past to come with us, but remembering it so we can keep going towards our greater yet to be. And our greater yet to be is always the most important thing that we can think of to be blessed in this time and space. And we are truly blessed in this time and space. There's a lot going on in the world right now. We're on the precipice of big changes, and the changes are happening rapidly. If you watch news, there's always something that's taking place. So a lot of people say, well, I can take care of the past, but what about the present? How do I find joy in everything that's going on? Well, the joy is within you. And no matter what is going on in the world, it doesn't do you any good to, again, be at the same level what's going on in the world. It's more helpful for you to rise and be in that joyful place. And here's a great quote from Joseph Campbell. He says, participate joyfully in the sorrows of the world. We cannot cure the world of sorrows, but we can choose to live in joy. And so he's not saying just be happy what's going on. He's saying be in a joyful place. So when you enter the realm of the things that are going on, you can be in that prayerful place of joy that you're okay. And if you know you're okay, then the world's okay. And the world, all it needs is you and your joy and your ability to pray from joy. So if we're praying, oh please save the world, what are we going to do? If we're praying that way, then we're moving down to the level of what's going on. But if we pray knowing that peace is at hand, that peace is within us, that peace is here now and forevermore, then you can find joy in that.
Ernest Holmes, I was listening to him Sunday, and he was talking about how there are enough awakened beings with the consciousness to create peace on the planet now. And that what we have to do is all of us focus on the peace and send our awareness and our energy toward the peace. And so whatever changes we have to make in our own lives, whether that's not get as connected to the news or however it is, it's the focus on where we want to go as opposed to where we've been or where we fear we might be going.
Right.
That is what we're creating from. And so I just invite each one of us to look at any of those places where we're feeling fearful or condemning or blaming, and just find that place of joy and that place of peace. And then we can all go forth in that. And I've read several times from several people recently that we actually have more capacity for change that way than even the things that we do. And I'm not saying don't do the wonderful things that you're doing. I'm just saying be aware of our energy and be aware of our consciousness while we're doing them, because that is absolutely the most important thing.
It's a powerful thing. It's a practice.
It is.
And you know what they say, practice makes perfect. And if you want to get to the place of joy, then you have to practice joy. Just do whatever it takes. The bird, the Sekova looks back not to the misery, but to the joy, and carries that joy to remind itself that it's going forth towards the future, and there's nothing but joy in the future. And we can do that too.
I have a quote to invite, not harm. Sometimes your joy is the source of your smile, but sometimes your smile is the source of your joy. Just think about how powerful that is. We were just talking about that this morning before we turned the camera on, about how can you smile and not feel joy?
Mhm.
And then when I smile, then Reverend Michael smiles, and I notice that all the time. I've noticed it forever. Like, I just go out and I say hi to everybody that's around me and I give them a smile. And sometimes people come up and talk to me in the checking lane or wherever, and they always have. And I just know that that's that positive energy, that welcoming smile and that joy is, they're catching it. And so I'm just so grateful for that. And
We have leaf blowers in the background.
we do. I don't know if this is going to be okay or not, because
It'll be okay.
she might be coming up to our door though.
Oh,
Might need to go close the door.
I'm gonna go close the door.
Okay, so I can't remember who said this, but I read this somewhere too, and it just really hit me, so I wrote it down. The soul is on the earth for its own delight. So I think about that, and I think about, it's a really big deal to squish that soul into this body and have these experiences for growth and for just the joy of being alive. And while I'm talking about that, the body's in the soul. The soul is way bigger than the body. the energy of the soul is that one of the books I read said it reaches 30 feet out. We had that discussion and Michael's
you
like,
said that.
nah, it's way bigger than that. So just remembering, yes, we're kind of stuffed down into a body, and we're still that enlightened, amazing being of light all of the time. And we have the opportunity to use that awareness when we're experiencing challenges and problems and things. So I also want to focus on nowness, because if we're focused on what's going on right now, right this minute, everything's okay. If I go to, oh, but my to-do list is this long and that is not nowness. And that is what takes me out of the nowness into things other than joy. And I promise you it works, because I'm really good at that. But also, as we teach these tools, as we practice these tools, as we go about our day, practicing the things that we're teaching and learning, we learn we have choices to do things a better way. Yeah.
Also,
And so the other thing is spiritually, regardless of what's going on, everything's always okay. This body may go where it goes, and spiritually, we're all eternal, and spiritually, every single one of us is okay all of the time, regardless of appearances. So we're not ever the condition. I'm trying to remember the name of this author who writes about imagining that you're watering the lawn or your flowers, your garden or whatever it is, and there's a kink in the hose. And so the water stops flowing. And she compares our consciousness when we aren't as aware as we could be to the kink in the hose. And so I like to think about that when I'm thinking about things that are bringing me other than joy. I just need to think about, oh yeah, I mean, what do we do when the water starts going? We go look and we find out the kink and we fix it. What do we do sometimes when we're stuck ourselves? We dwell. We can choose not to. So here are a couple of spiritual practices that work for me. Set the intention to be joy-filled. So just, I mean, whatever that means to you, if it's smiling in the mirror, if it's smiling at other people, if it's meditating on joy, if it's praying about joy, whatever it is, do that. And also, I know that this is a very busy world right now, and I know I experience it too. Sometimes I don't practice self-care. And that is really, really important to make sure we're taking care of ourselves. Yeah. And so the source of our happiness is inside, not outside. I'm pretty sure it was Desmond Tutu who was talking about that in the book that is written about him and the Dalai Lama, and they're talking about joy. Oh, it is. And he talks about having a compassionate heart for others, that when, he says it this way, when we're focusing on serving others, that helps us open up our joy. So as we are just focusing on ourselves and what might be going wrong and things, we lose that joy. But when we take the focus away to be compassionate with others, to serve others, to do things for others, to do things that are meaningful for us, that increases our joy.
yes.
Yes. And
I'm
so
feeling joyful right now.
yes. So Eckhart Tolle says, pleasure is always derived from something outside you, whereas joy arises from within. And so again, it's an inside job. And so it's ours to do the things that we do that help make us joyful.
Joyful isn't something you go after, something you're seeking. Joy just is. So it just needs to be awakened inside you. And how do you awaken? Well, we talked about smiling, talking about, I can see the joy in my wife every time she gets around her grandkids. She's like crazy joy. And there's stuff everywhere you go or everywhere you are that you can feel joyful about. It's just you have to waken it up inside you because it's always there.
One of the choices I've made is no matter what's on my to-do list, Tuesday afternoon is grandkid day. And that's what we do on Tuesday afternoons. We play. And there have been times when I was so focused on the to-do list, I didn't do the things that brought me joy. And now I recognize that doing those things that would bring me joy are what gives me the energy and the joyfulness to take into all the other things that we're doing. Yeah. And so that's one way of self-care for me. Just like prioritizing that which gives me joy, and they absolutely give me joy all of the time.
So you had something,
I do. I want to read this. This is on, just for those of you who like to know where things come from, on page 292 of The Science of Mind. And it's back in where he does the prayers and affirmations and things.
So if you would just close your eyes and listen to this. And just be open to it.
I am joy, peace, and happiness. I am the spirit of joy within me. I am the spirit of peace within me, of poise, of power. Because it really, really needs to all go together. I am joy, peace, and happiness. I am the spirit of joy within me. I am the spirit of peace within me, of poise and of power. I am the spirit of happiness within me. I radiate life. I am life. There is one life, and that life is my life now. I know that I'm at the threshold of all good, wisdom, and truth. All the good I can embody now is mine. I have only to open the portals of my soul and accept that which is ready to express through me. I expect fully and emphatically the answer to my prayer today. Right now, do I possess this thing I so greatly desire? I remove from my fear of lack and negation, for it is the only barrier which stands in the way of my experience of good. I alone can do it, and I do remove it now.
You can feel the joy many years after he's been on the other side. He's a joyful person and live joyfully, and we can too. I just want to say something about this recording, because normally we do everything live, and you've probably have had that experience of being in live services, but this recording is going to go the way it went. Me going to the door to stop the noise, or Valerie getting a drink of water. If we were live, it would all be that way. But it's not live. But yet it is live for you. So
it's live for us.
Yes. So your experience is your experience, and your experience of us is well, I picked the angel card today called Truth. And that's what I'm speaking from right now. It's been the joy of my life to be a minister. It's been the absolute joy to teach classes, to speak on Sundays. And I feel so blessed and so full of joy just talking about right now that God chose me to take this path. And I had enough sense to say yes to it. I had enough sense to go through all the steps I had to go through to get there. I don't know if you feel the same, but
it's absolutely something we're pulled toward. Even in the beginning when we're going, who, me? What? So, and the other interesting thing about that is once, and I know this happened for you too, once I said yes to the calling, the way opened up.
mm-hmm.
So all of the things, well, what about? Once I said yes, the way just opened up, and then
everything we needed was provided.
Absolutely.
And we both had similar experiences, but individually a lot different. But the similar experiences is when we said yes to Spirit. Spirit provided everything we needed. And it's the same thing. Any quality of Spirit, of God that you can think of, all you have to do is say yes to it. So since we're talking about joy today, all you have to do is say yes to joy.
And the self-care that, it's like me deciding okay, my to-do list is 2 miles long, and Tuesday afternoons are for grateful, because that's part of my joy. And so just prioritizing that which gives me joy gives me the energy to go do the other thing that might be really hard right after that.
Yeah. Our journey together as ministers, well, even preceding that, before you were a minister and we met, and I was already a minister, there's been a joyful connection that we may have had a couple of arguments in the beginning, but we rarely ever, even though we're complete opposites.
I think that's probably why.
Maybe that's why. So not only do we as people bring joy for ourselves, but that same joy can spread to your mate, or to your family, or to strangers, or to friends. It's just contagious. And it's up to each one of us to center ourselves, find joy, and come out of that centering as the joyful being that you are. Joy to be alive, joy to live life in its fullness. Just be joyful. Okay, I'm gonna leave this last quote from Emily Dickinson. The mere sense of living is joy enough. So go out there and live and find the joy. You want to start the prayer?
So I just invite you to be comfortable. Close your eyes. And just really take a few deep cleansing breaths. And as we take those breaths, we recognize that God is breathing those breaths in our body, breathing the breaths we're aware of, breathing the breaths we're not aware of. God is the thinker of our thoughts. God is the beater of our hearts, that there is no place that God is not. And so I know that everything is the divine light and the divine spirit and the divine in action, creating, expanding, creating, becoming more and more and more of itself all of the time, that it is omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, and always expanding and creating. And so I know that right where I am, God is, that God is my life and my life is God. And I know that same truth of Reverend Michael, that right where he is, God is, that God is his life. And I know that for each one of you, I know that God is your life, that your life is God. And I know that we're one with God together, that every single time we look at something or look into someone's eyes, we're looking at God, because there is no place outside of God. And so I'm so grateful to know this for myself, grateful to know this for each and every one of you and everyone everywhere. And so I know that as we focus on that, we focus on light and love and truth and harmony and joy and abundance and prosperity and radiant health and divinely wondrous relationships. And we focus on compassion and on just allowing and on that joy and that peace and that oneness. And with this word, I know it's done, and I pass my word to Reverend Michael.
And so I accept the words that have been spoken before me, knowing that they are already in action, they're already taking place, that each and every individual that is tuned into our talk today has already taken a step in moving towards their own joy. That joy just spreads through their entire body, through their entire being, and then keeps spreading outward to their family, to their friends, to the world, to the places where there's conflict, to the places where there's strife, to the places where there's pain, lack, limitation, and opens up the possibilities to all who catch it. And today I am so very grateful to have had this opportunity for us to touch the hearts of all those in your community. Grateful for this opportunity to speak the word, know the truth, for myself, for Reverend Valerie, and for everyone that is tuned in to the sound of our voices. This word is complete. This word is fulfilled. And so I say, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, life. Thank you. And with the power that is present here today, I can just let it go now. Release it into the love, release it into the law, knowing that it's complete.
Yeah.
I say, thank you, and I let it be by saying,
And
so it is.
Amen. Amen. Aho. I think there's another one I forget. And the important thing for me is woo!
Yeah,
Yay. Thank you for being with us today.
Yes,
We
thank
had a
you.
really good time.
we did. Blessings to your community.
Yeah, we love you.
In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. And I rest and relax and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is love. There is love. In the stillness of this moment, there is love. There is love. And I rest, I relax, I breathe, and know that in the stillness of this moment, there is love. There is peace, stillness in the quiet, stillness with love, stillness with peace.
So now is the time for our offering, which is always a fun place. I just want to remind all of us that it's up to us to keep our organization going. So if that's really important to you, we so receive and give thanks for your offerings and your generosity and for supporting the Center for Spiritual Living Boulder Valley to remain a vital and thriving center so that we can continue uplifting the consciousness of humanity through the science of mind philosophy. So please affirm with me the following. This perfect gift is spirit and form, circulating and blessing all that it touches. Freely I give and joyously I receive. And so it is. Thank you for your giving. So I've talked to most of you this week, if not all of you. That's been my intention, is to connect. As many of you know, we're going to be simplifying our services on Sunday morning to cut the costs by almost three quarters. The church funds have not been as much as our expenses have been. So the board has been very diligent. I just want to acknowledge your board of trustees. We have met 4 or 5 times this month. I'm losing track. So a lot of discussion has been done about how we can create spaces for you to experience the love that lives here. So as of May, we will be doing one in-house service at the Methodist Church. We'll let you know the time and dates. And we'll also be doing a picnic there. And that is because of the insurance and other factors. There's so much behind the scenes of putting on a church picnic. So we'll be meeting at the Methodist Church. They also have a great kitchen, so that'll be helpful. And be sure and check out our Tuesday mornings and put down on your calendar, April 16th, we're going to be doing, that's a Saturday. It's the day before Easter. We're going to be doing our Easter service. And we have the Karen Karsh Band, which is very exciting. And we also have, we're going to take a look at the historical walk of Jesus that week, 2,000 years ago. There's so much rich information. So please join us.
I just wanted to remind you this community is supported by a prayer team of practitioners. We love to pray with and for you. So please reach out at any time. All of our contact information is on the website /prayer. And even if it's just something that you have a question about, it may not be a challenge, but something that's on your mind, on your heart, something like, I wonder what I should do. I wonder what's coming up next for me. Or if there's a celebration that you really want to anchor, and so you bring more of that into your life, reach out.
So that's it for our service today. Go out and be in awe and wonderment of all that's around you. Somebody the other day from the Portland area I hadn't talked to in a long time said, how do you like Colorado? And I go, oh, Colorado's my soul land. I love living here, and I love being in awe and wonderment of the mountains and the sky and the buds and everything that happens here in Colorado. And it happens everywhere on the planet. When we can start there, being in touch with nature and being in awe and wonderment, everything else falls into place. So go out this week, have fun, building your joy, and know that we love you because love lives here. Have a great week, everyone. I love you dearly. Bye.
Now, please join me in saying our benediction together.
I now walk so that whoever walks beside me dwells in the presence of God. I now listen so that whoever speaks with me knows that I hear the voice of God. Whoever places a hand in mine is lifted, and whoever thinks of me is illumined with God consciousness. For Spirit and I are one eternally, and so it is.
So Karen Karsh is going to make a very big announcement now, so sit back, and here she is, the great Karen Karsh.
Hi, everybody. I have an announcement to make, and it is definitely a big one. I'm going to be leaving Boulder Valley CSL and moving on to David Goldberg's church, Unity on the Avenue. I received the offer. It's an offer I really can't and don't want to refuse. What I want to say to you, though, is it's very hard to leave you. This has been my community for 20 years. And I've been music director for 7 years, and I love you all. And I thank every one of you for your support and for listening to my music and, being part of what makes me feel so close to God. And I also would like you to know that I am not leaving the community. I will be back to sing sometimes, and I will be at the picnics, and I'm staying in my women's group, and maybe we'll do tea on Tuesdays. I don't know. I just want you to know that the world is changing for all of us. The world is changing for me, and I'm taking the change, and I do need to move and let my wings spread wide, and I need to fly. But I will never forget you, and you will always be my community, and hopefully I will always be yours. So that is the big announcement, and I love you all. Thank you very, very much. And there is a closing song today that I have written, of course, just for you. And it's one of mine called More Than Friends. been together for so long. I bet you can even sing the words to most of my songs. You've made my life so much richer, you see. I feel so blessed to be part of our sweet community. It truly means so much to me. It feels like we're more than friends, though we are not friends in the usual way. It feels like we're more than friends, though we don't get together every day. Hope my music got you through some of your long nights and some of your toughest days. I know that our love made everything work out right. That's why I say it feels like we're more than just friends. Well, life's been changing for me. I've received this amazing opportunity, and though it's gonna be really hard for me to leave, I'm always gonna be part of our community, 'cause we made it through some of our longest nights. We got through some of our toughest days. With your love, everything always seemed to work out right. I'll always say it feels like we're more than friends. More than friends. More than just friends. More than friends.
Love